And the last thing, the most important piece, is we're going to take the North and never give it back.
I've told you before, I'm a fan. This is our second meeting. You are nice, all right? You are nice with yours, all right?
I just want to shout out to Swift at Swift Sports Network.
What's up, Swift? This is Kyler Gordon. Just want to do a quick shout out to Swift Sports Network with all the latest news on the Bears.
You ain't speaking facts, we don't want to hear it. Yeah, we going for the dub. You are now watching Swift Sports.
The Bears.
Breaking news, guys. We have signed a new quarterback as well as a new wide receiver and a new cornerback. The Chicago Bears are making moves today, multiple moves being made, but our new quarterback is none other than Case Keenum, the guy who led the Vikings to the NFC, not the NFC North, the guy who led the Vikings to the NFC Championship just a few years back. Today I'm going to break down quickly what Case Keenum brings to the roster, what it means for Caleb Williams, and what it means for our backup quarterback, TYSON BAGENT. And I'll quickly cover the other two signings as well, Miles Boykins and Shaun Wade. Both of those players I already did a video on probably about an hour ago, so check that out if you want more in-depth details on the new signings of Miles Boykins and Shaun Wade. But let's go ahead and talk about Case Keenum, and then I'll get to any questions you guys might have. Case Keenum, 37 years old, 6'1", 215 pounds. He has a career record of 30-36 with 15,000 plus career passing yards, 79 career touchdowns, 51 interceptions. His career high, he threw for 3,890 yards in 2018. That was the year after he led the Vikings to the NFC Championship in 2017. So basically, he led the Vikings to the NFC Championship in 2017. Then he got traded to the Broncos in 2018, almost threw for 4,000 yards. But since then, he has only started 4 games in the NFL over the last 5 seasons. So basically, a very experienced backup. He has playoff experience, 1-1 career record in the playoffs. He lost that NFC Championship game. It was a game that ended on a questionable call. It was one of those games that could have went either way. So he was actually close to leading his team to the Super Bowl. Case Keenum's a veteran backup that is going to bring a lot of experience to the quarterback room. I don't think he's immediately going to be quarterback 2, but he's probably going to start off as quarterback 2 with a little bit more experience, done a lot more than TYSON BAGENT has done. But I wouldn't rule out TYSON BAGENT. I don't think this is awful news for him. It's just like a couple years ago. TYSON BAGENT can still win that QB2 job. It's just going to come down to what happens in training camp. Keenum is 37 years old, but he's worked in multiple systems in the NFL, and he has playoff experience. This is a guy that's threw for 15,000 plus career passing yards, so he does bring something to the table. Right now, he's signing a 1-year deal. It's worth up to $3 million. This is another breakdown of him I have on the screen right here. On the left side, you'll see he's 37 years old, so he's past the prime of his career. He's not a guy who's going to come in here. He's not challenging Caleb for a starting job. Before anyone talks anything crazy like that, let's just get it real. He's coming in to provide valuable backup experience, and he's going to challenge for the QB2 job. But I don't even think he's a shoo-in for QB2, although he does have a ton more experience than BAGENT. The deal is only worth up to $3 million. In college, he also had a ton of experience as well. He threw 155 touchdowns to 46 interceptions. In 2009, he threw for 5,671 yards. His best seasons in the NFL came in 2017 and 2018. 2017, he was with the Vikings. That's the year he went to the NFC Championship, throwing 3,500 yards, 22 touchdowns, and just 7 interceptions. Then he was the starter again the next season for the Broncos, throwing 3,890 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, but he threw 15 interceptions. Since then, he's only started 4 games total in the last 5 years. But the last time he played, he was a very effective quarterback, capable of leading his team to the playoffs, and a guy you can basically what I'm saying, he's a guy you can definitely win with in the NFL. A valuable backup, but he's 37 years old. He's not providing anything special, and he's definitely not going to challenge Caleb Williams. And then quickly, I'll show you the other 2 players we signed. Definitely check out my other video for more details on these guys, though. Miles Boykins, wide receiver, 6'4", 220, had a 9.94 RAS score. He's only 28, but he's basically a big-bodied wide receiver out of Notre Dame that's going to come in and challenge Colin Johnson. And then you have Shaun Wade, the cornerback who's a former star out of Ohio State, who hasn't done anything in the NFL. So quickly breaking down these signings, here's what we have, guys. 3 new Chicago Bears. We have quarterback Case Keenum, wide receiver Miles Boykins, and cornerback Shaun Wade. Case Keenum brings us a valuable backup quarterback with some veteran experience. He's going to help Caleb Williams, and he's going to challenge Tyson Bagent. Meanwhile, Miles Boykins is going to come in and battle Colin Johnson for that wide receiver 5 spot. And then Shaun Wade, he's going to be battling for a roster spot. That's the newest Chicago Bears news. I'm going to go ahead and read through your chats now, see if you guys have any interesting questions or comments about these signings. 3 new Chicago Bears. Let's see what we have. Keenum, looks like Ken likes it. Yeah, he was really good in Houston. He went to college in Houston. I don't think I mentioned the name of the college he went to, but he's from Houston. Not a huge needle mover. He's definitely not going to challenge Caleb Williams. It's 50-50 right now if he's going to be the QB2 or not. Last year, I remember we brought in Trevor, what was his name? Trevor Siemian. And I remember a lot of people saying, I remember people actually guaranteeing that Trevor Siemian was going to be QB2. And I said, I wouldn't go that far because you can't rule out Tyson Bagent. Tyson Bagent's young, he's smart, and he's a guy you can win with. He's a capable backup quarterback in the NFL. So this year, when it comes to Case Keenum, I will say this. Keenum is more accomplished than the guy last year, Trevor Siemian. He's a more accomplished quarterback than Trevor Siemian. So I will say the odds of him challenging Tyson Bagent are higher than they were last year. I will say I value him higher. He's on a higher scale than a Chase Daniel or any of those other backup QB3s we've had over the last couple of years. I'd say right now Tyson Bagent is probably just a tad bit below where Case Keenum's at. Case Keenum has playoff experience and multiple years starting in the NFL. But he's 37 years old. He hasn't started in 5 years. Tyson Bagent has actually started more games than him recently. So I do believe there's a battle there, but I would still have Tyson Bagent as my QB2. I mean, he's thrown for 3,500 plus yards twice in the NFL, and he led his team to an NFC championship game and has a playoff victory. A lot of quarterbacks who are starting in the NFL can't say they've done things like that. So I'm not a huge Case Keenum guy. I'm not trying to overhype him or anything, but I will say he's a more accomplished backup than the guys we brought in the last couple of years. I think he has there's higher chances that he can challenge Tyson Bagent and win that QB2 job than the guys we've had in previously. That being said, though, do not write off Tyson Bagent. He's young. He's confident. He's extremely accurate. He has a ton of experience in college. He's played in multiple offenses. He's started in the NFL. And he's been with this team underneath Caleb Williams for a year already. I'm not a big Case Keenum fan. I'm just telling you he's a better guy than Trevor Siemian. He's not. Trevor Siemian's a guy who, he started a couple games in the NFL. Brett Rippon the same way. Those guys were basically journeymen. Same with Nathan Peterman. The guys we've had at QB3 over the last 5 years, have been journeyman guys who have never been starters for an entire year in the NFL. This guy, Case Keenum, has 2 seasons of not only starting in the NFL, but actually being a pretty decent quarterback, throwing for more than 25 touchdowns and also throwing for over 3,500 yards. Anytime you win a division round playoff game, it's not bad. I mean, this is a guy who you got to give him a little bit credit. I'm not going to hype up this signing. I'm not going to be sitting here saying Case Keenum's QB2, but I do think he's going to challenge TYSON BAGENT. Definitely has no shot of challenging Caleb Williams. Caleb is our quarterback. Put any end to that, guys. But quickly, I'll run down. I'll show you guys his stats again. This is what we're getting in Case Keenum. He led a team to an NFC championship. He's a guy who has some experience, but he's also 37 years old. And he also has only started 4 games since 2019. But in 2018, he threw for what would pretty much be, I think that would be our franchise record passing yards. So he's not a complete chump. That's all I'm saying, guys. But I love it. I think it's a pretty decent signing, only up to $3 million. Add some more experience to the QB room. And we're a team that wants to win. Remember that, guys. All of the moves made over the last 3 weeks or more, they've all signaled and said the same thing. The Ryan Poles in this front office and Ben Johnson, they want to win games this season. And if we want to win games, improving the quarterback room behind Caleb Williams, in case something were to happen, knock on wood, then it only helps improve this team. And it's not a bad option. We also added more speed to the wide receiver room and the cornerback room as well. Check out my video on Miles Boykins and Shaun Wade. I appreciate all you guys who stopped by. I just want to do a quick live stream. It's just a new backup quarterback. I have more videos on the way. Make sure you check out my other video on those other guys. Hit the like button for me, guys, and stay tuned. I have a ton of draft content on the way, breaking down draft prospects and all 22 work. Stay